Hello, Rob from Fountain Pen Journey. Let's kick this off. New start, fountain pens, writing implements, maybe even ballpoint pen reviews, but let's go back to the grail pen that I bought 4 years ago, the Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Age. Really wanted one of these pens ever since I first heard about them. When I started fountain pen, well, it wasn't even fountain pen journey. I mean, I'm talking 2017 when I first got into fountain pens. Heard about Visconti making a pen out of lava, casting, it's basically resin with the lava impregnated into the resin. They made a fountain pen, this thing, and it is available in all sorts of other finishes and materials now, different acrylics, but the actual Homo Sapiens Bronze Age, there's a Dark Age and blah blah, all the rest of it. There are other versions with different coloured trims, but I really like this Bronze Age. This was the fountain pen that I really wanted to get my hands on many years ago. 4 years ago, bought one second hand for a very reasonable price, and yes, used it for a few months, cleaned it, put it in a drawer, decided maybe it wasn't for me. So recently I've been using this pen much more, got it out, decided if I'm getting back into fountain pens, why not go with one of the most coveted pens that I had, my grail pen, and go with the Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Age. So what can I say about it? It's quite a nice weighty pen. The material, this Mount Etna lava material, I really like it. It feels textured, but it's still smooth. It's slightly hygroscopic, or certainly it will absorb things. So sweat from your hand, it will absorb that. Grease from your fingers, it will absorb that. So bear that in mind. And of course, it will absorb ink. So it's a good job that it's black. Ink will soak into this material if you're not too careful and wipe it off. So that is one thing. Now, the bronze is developing a patina, as you can see, which is quite nice. I'm sure you could polish that up if you wanted to, but I don't. I like patina. And we've got the Visconti arched clip, which is, in my opinion, yes, it might be iconic, it might be unique to Visconti based on the bridge in Italy, but quite honestly, I think that the clip on this pen is pretty useless. It's got very sharp edge there, and it basically lies flat against the cap. There's no way of opening it other than lifting it in the middle. It's not particularly strong. As you can see, it's actually a really bad clip. We've got the cap with this finial. Now, I do believe that this finial comes out. It's held in place by quite a strong magnet, so I've not messed around too much with it. You can get a specific tool for several pounds probably from Visconti which will remove this really easily, and you can customize your Visconti Homo Sapiens using initials, so you can get these half, I suppose it's a bit like yin and yang, you get this half thing, so I could have two initials up here, R and F, place them in there and it sits in the top of the finial. You can also get cabochons, so these are domed gemstones, like a half circular gemstone, which just basically are glued onto a magnetic backplate. You can get all sorts of gemstones, mainly based on, if you like, birthstones. And I used to be a lapidary, so I used to cut my own stones, and I've got to say, when I looked at the quality of these cabochons that are available, because I was tempted, you can get them different colours obviously, they are about the lowest grade of cabochon available. They should cost a few pence to buy. I mean, they are really, really bad grade gemstones. B grade would be pushing it. You're talking C grade cabochons, really, really bad quality semi-precious stones. But if that's your thing, you can have one of those in the top there, so you can replace that finial. Got the 2 bronze cap bands, and of course all the cap is this lava material, as is the barrel, and it goes down to the blind cap down here. Now this unscrews, and I'm not going to do it because it's got ink in it, but you unscrew that, you pull it out, and there's a rod, and it is Visconti's power filling system. Now, for some strange reason, when I wanted this pen, I never even considered, didn't even think about how you fill this pen. So when I bought it, I kind of looked at it and it was like, I don't know what filling system this pen uses. So I very quickly figured out there's a blind cap, then realised it's not a piston filler, it's a vac filler. That's what Visconti call their power filler. It's actually a vacuum filling fountain pen. So you basically withdraw the piston out of the back of the pen, stick the nib into your bottle of ink, push the piston down, it reaches a point, and then the vacuum created inside the barrel in the chamber is then released, and it sucks cap up through the nib and the feed into the barrel of the fountain pen. Now, I have something to say about that later. There's nothing on this finial down here on the blind cap. We've got a bronze ring, which is also patina ink. So let's just do a quick comparison with a Lamy All-Star. So as you can see, slightly larger. It's not as big as a pen as I expected. There is a MIDI version of the Visconti Homo Sapiens available as well, slightly smaller. But this was the pen that I really wanted. So, next thing, this is what I really do love, and this almost got me buying another Visconti simply for this. It's the capping system. It's Visconti's own. It's very hard to see, but there are basically indentations just above the section there, which hook the cap into place. So basically you put your cap on, give it a slight twist. As you can see, it slides down a bit and then hooks into place. So this is very securely capped. The cap does wobble a bit, but I mean it's not even a screw on. It is so efficient. And this pen doesn't seem to dry out when it's been left unused for any length of time. Obviously a long time you're going to get a hard start. And of course hard starts with the vacuum filling fountain pen are going to be a bit of a pain. So you uncap it. I've got a fairly short section with these capping things here, the actual hooks. I find it a very comfortable pen to hold. The section is just about the right size, but you do feel this slight step up there. Of course, you've got the bronze ring here, but that's way out of the way. You do feel these steps up to each of these little indentations. It is noticeable. So that is that. As for the weight of the pen, it is weighty. It's a nice, comfortable weight to hold. The material is lovely to hold. I know some people might find it a little bit if you don't like touching terracotta. This probably isn't going to be the pen for you because it is very sort of matte, but quite good. Length. For a large pen, it's got a nice large gold nib. Gold nib on this, by the way. There are other nibs available in palladium, newer nibs, which I believe have had all sorts of quality issues. You can't cap the pen very well. It does, but it's kind of, you're running the risk of unscrewing this, but it kind of caps. You get a very heavy pen then. It's not particularly good. The back weighting is around this area. So yeah, no, just tighten that back up. Not the best posted, but just about the right sort of size for my hands. I would say that this is a shorter pen than I would like for the price and the weight. It's just kind of, I'd have expected more. If I get my Lamy 2000, obviously slightly smaller pen, narrower, slightly shorter, it's actually a little bit longer, just longer than the Lamy 2000. I find that this just feels more natural. This feels kind of like I've bought a Ferrari, but it's not quite the Ferrari I wanted. Anyway, so that's that. Let's do the writing sample. So this is a broad gold nib. I'm going to have a hard start because I've left the pen uncapped and been capping and uncapping. I'll talk about the experience shortly because you're probably going to want to know what I think of this particular nib. I got lucky. The ink is, this is a long one, Pure Pens, so UK based company, Pure Pens, and it is a black ink called the Beast of Bodmin, which sold me immediately. If you don't know what the Beast of Bodmin is, Bodmin Moor is a moor in southwest England, Devon, Cornwall, and there is a, well, it's pretty much confirmed, there is at least one big black cat, say panther, puma type thing. It's a bit disputed, but it's been seen for years, probably breeding out there as well, escaped from captivity. So the Beast of Bodmin is this thing. Very intriguing, bit of a legend, and then kind of became sort of accepted as being true. Actual writing experience, I would say that even for abroad, this is not massively wide as far as the lines go. It is very wet, very, very wet, and it lays down ink gorgeously. There is a little bit of feedback. Reverse writing does work, and that's quite smooth. Line variation. Let's just do no pressure, squeeze it out, and yes, you can see there is nice bounce to this gold nib. You do get some decent line variation. There we go. So on the whole, I got lucky. Buying a second-hand Visconti Homo Sapiens, you kind of running the risk. Is it one of those Visconti nibs that was absolute rubbish? Somebody decided to buy it and then go, oh God, this is terrible, and then sell it on. I know that the seller did say that they weren't sure if they'd reinserted this nib correctly because they had swapped the nib out. But the nib that I got as part of that sale, really happy with. Big nib, very nice to write with. It's smooth. There is a bit of feedback. It's not just completely smooth. And on this rhodia paper, yep, you can feel it, you can hear it. Sometimes get some squeaking on certain papers. But overall, really happy. As for what I think of this pen, it's hugely impractical. It is like a Ferrari. You're kind of buying something because it's Mount Etna lava. This is why it will never part company with me. It's an intriguing material. It's unique. It's only available through Visconti making this out of Mount Etna lava from Mount Etna, which I really like. I like geology, as I mentioned. It used to be a lapidary. So this sort of material really interests me. And I love the look of the pen. I love the capping mechanism. The gold nib writes really well. Really happy with the way that it writes. It's incredibly wet. And herein lies the problem. Because this Mount Etna lava is hygroscopic, it absorbs water and other fluids. The inside of the pen is lined. So the vacuum filling system, the power filling system, is actually not the same as the barrel. So it's a lot smaller inside the barrel than the actual barrel. I've got a lot of, if you like, piston fillers and vacuum fillers, and it's pretty much the material and then the chamber inside the barrel. This is the material, and then it's got this liner inside to stop ink soaking through into this material. The result is you've got a much smaller chamber inside the barrel than you would normally have. How much smaller? It's incredibly small. This pen holds roughly 1.5 millilitres of ink. Bearing in mind a standard, if you like, a standard international converter holds about 0.75, so it's about 2 converters full of ink inside this pen. And with this broad nib, and it being such a wet nib, you're going to be horrified. I can write with this pen with a full fill only 9.5 A5 pages. So it's, if you're lucky, you're going to get maybe 5 pages of A4 out of one fill. Filling it is also a bind, because of course you don't even know the ink level, you can't see into it. But you put the nib in the ink pot, you press the plunger down, it sucks the ink up. You're supposed to leave it for about 10 seconds, so the filling process takes a lot longer than many other vac fillers. So for a power filler, it's a pretty slow power fill. We're not talking Ferrari speeds here. It is slow, so it takes about 10 seconds to get a full fill. You're not even going to get a full fill. And this is where people say you need to use the Visconti travelling inkwell, which is available, guess what, for more money. Visconti sell it. You can buy it in the UK. Cult pens. It's about £79 for something that holds 5 mils of ink, just to fill your pen up a bit better. And it's not going to give you much more. You maybe get a page extra, if that, out of that full fill. And basically you invert the pen nib up so that you stick the inkwell on top of the nib here, and then you do the power fill thing, and it basically uses a bit of gravity just to fill that last little bit of the chamber in there. So it kind of sucks. I'm not impressed at all by the way that Visconti have created a big pen that actually doesn't fill very much ink into it. So there's my thoughts on the Visconti Homo Sapiens. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.